Hey everyone, so I've just come back from a holiday in Amsterdam, and yes, it was fantastic and it had a lot of great food. A lot of people asked what we did. We pretty much just ate at different places that we wished to, and we researched and we found cool places and ate a lot of different foods, a lot of traditional foods, which was fantastic. But a lot of people stress about going away on holiday, how that's going to relate to their mindset, how it's going to relate to their food intake, and what to do when you come back. So I want to break this down on how I did it, and also what to do when you come back, and how you should approach it. So it all comes back to what your goal is and how serious or how quickly you need to see the results that you want to see. So for me, before I went to Amsterdam, I basically been in a calorie deficit, making sure that I was kind of in a relatively good condition or happy with my condition before I went away to Amsterdam, knowing that in Amsterdam was my kind of first holiday of the year, and won't be going on another one until October. So if we look at it from a long-term perspective, it's going to be 1 week in a long few months before we go away and I completely relax on my nutrition again. So for me, I looked at it as a opportunity to take a week off tracking. So I didn't track any of my food on MyFitnessPal. I looked at it as an opportunity to try different foods, which would be harder to track because we did do a day of a food walking tour, so that would have been extremely hard to track because by the end of the day we'd been to so many different places I could barely even remember what we started with, and then just relax on my macronutrients as well. So I know for 100% while I wasn't away I was definitely not hitting my protein requirements, and also I was in a calorie surplus. So if I was looking to come back from that holiday and have kind of maintained my condition or have even lost weight, I needed to go away being realistic and knowing that that wasn't the case. And yes, I was 100% happy with that because I knew that was the case. I knew that even my step count was only average to what it would be when I would be at home. So that, like, my output had basically gone down because I wasn't training in the gym either, and my calorie intake had gone up. So like 100% I knew coming home that there would be, I guess what you could say consequences. I knew that I couldn't come back and be in that same condition. And that's fine. I 100% went with that mindset, knowing that, respecting that, and I knew that it's 1 week out of a long term, until October. So, we're only in April now and I hadn't been on holiday price, so it's 1 week out of a long kind of time before I'm going to relax completely on my nutrition again. So this is the thing, when you go away on holiday, it's really up to you on how you tackle it. If your weight loss goals are very, very kind of strong and you need to make sure that you still go away and you maintain your body weight in order for you to then keep going when you get back from holiday, that's what you need to accept and kind of commit to before you go away, and then basically come up with a plan in order to basically achieve that. I went away with the mindset that, I'm very, very lean at this point, running into Amsterdam. I can afford to very much relax on my diet and then come back and get straight back into it, knowing that I will be able to kind of come back to the condition I was in prior. Yes, it may take a couple of weeks to adjust back into normal routine of lifting again, hitting steps again, counting macros again, but knowing that I would be able to do that, knowing that I've got that ingrained as so much of a habit that it will be easy enough for me to do. And that's another thing you need to take into consideration. How much is the habit ingrained for you? I mean, I've been tracking for years now, so I know that that's an ingrained habit. I can kind of take a break and feel quite comfortable taking that break, but at the same time I know that I can get back the day after coming back from holiday and start tracking again, because I know that's so ingrained for me. But if you are still quite new, if you can't kind of 100% feel that kind of responsibility to yourself to be able to know that yes, I'll get back and I'll be 100% back on it, then maybe you need to look at it from a more kind of controlled approach while you're away. And if you're still very, you've got a long journey ahead of you from a weight loss perspective, maybe it is worth just looking to maintain while you're on holiday. Enjoy yourself, but be very much mindful of what you're consuming from an alcohol perspective, but also from a calorie perspective as well. And that's where kind of loosely tracking, or tracking at least calories away on holiday, could be a good way for you to still make sure that you maintain during that period, and therefore when you get back you don't find it too hard to get back into your normal routines. So this is kind of the perspective, is that when you go away on holiday, before you go, you need to set yourself what you want to achieve. Do you want to make sure that you just maintain your body weight and come back in the same position while you're on holiday, and therefore you can keep pushing with your weight loss goal? Are you okay that your body composition may change while you're away on holiday, and that you might put on a little bit of body fat, but if that's the case, your habits and behaviours are so ingrained that when you get back, you know that you'll be able to slot back into normal routine, and you accept that it may be a few weeks before you actually get back to your prior body composition. So that's number one. Always have the goal in mind before you go, so that you know how you're going to schedule or plan for your holiday. So if you were someone like myself, don't go away and go crazy. You still need to, you can't just kind of completely come off and use it as a way of kind of binging, because that's going to give you some bad behaviours. You just need to still eat mindfully, but still kind of relax on the perspective that if you don't track for a week, you know that you'll be able to pick it up the following week, and you know that you'll get back into your old behaviours when you return. However, if that's not you, if you don't feel like you've ingrained those behaviours yet, it may be worth moving your calories back to maintenance for that week, if your holiday is just a week, and also tracking loosely, so just tracking calories. That way you know if you'll be overshooting it too much, or if you're staying within a good range to come back and have maintained your body composition before you went. So it really comes back to you. You need to kind of set yourself the goal of what you want to achieve while you're away on holiday. You need to think about how ingrained your behaviours are, how ingrained your tracking behaviours are, and your fitness, maybe walking steps or maybe even training behaviours are ingrained, because if you feel that they are 100% ingrained in your lifestyle and you couldn't think about living without them, then you'll be fine once you get back. However, if you're someone who's still really trying to ingrain them, it may be worth maintaining them to an aspect, maybe not 100% while you're away, but loosely. So loosely tracking your calories so that you know roughly what your intake is and that you're not overshooting it too much. So that's how I tackle holidays. I always have that goal in mind, and I basically come up with a strategy before I go, so exactly I know what I'm doing. If you have any questions about this, or you want to know more about how I do it, or you want some help coming up with your own strategy, please do just get in contact with me, and I'm more than happy to help out with that.